Hey, can I say one thing? Is it true
Never,
that
no,
No.
you've never said one thing.
no. Is it true that it's Bill Hilts Sr.'s birthday?
Yes.
All right, this is a Camp Figura tradition. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bill Hilts Sr. Happy birthday to you,
Bill Sr.
and many more.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Happy birthday, Bill. I don't know if we've actually ever met before. My name is Chris Paparo. I'm the newer president of NYSOWA. So I'm excited. I'm a fairly new member myself, so I'm just excited to get to meet you here and hear a little bit from your perspective from back in the day of NYSOWA.
Well, it's naturally changed a heck of a lot. And I can remember going to a meeting up at Saranac Lake, and I'm trying to think who was there with me. Where only two of us showed up. That was in the course of the beginning, and we've had a slow progress, but good progress, good organization, quality people, and we've all enjoyed each other. And I'm thinking back all the years, my gosh. I remember they had one meeting in New York City. I didn't go to it. There wasn't many others that went either. But we've met all corners of the state, and some have been great meetings and some have been just meetings. And I'm thinking back to the beginning. Gosh, who was involved in the beginning? Any of you guys remember? Leo was involved. Doug, he's gone now.
Doug
Doug
Goodman?
Fugel?
Yeah, Doug Fugel. The mind doesn't work like it used to 50, 60 years ago, you know. You'll find this out as you younger guys get a little older.
Yeah.
And but it's been a good ride. I've met some wonderful people. And of course, this was linked in with Outdoor Writers Association of America. I had the pleasure of serving president of that for several years. I was on the board of directors for several years, vice president for several years. And through all these associations, we brought together the New York Outdoor Writers, and Hans Power was the key guy. And I started organizing it myself. And somebody called me and said, Bill, Hans Power is organizing a New York Outdoor Writers too. I said, who's Hans Power? He said, he lives up in Messina. So I called him. I worked at the full-time at the New York Power Authority there. And we chatted for probably an hour. And we managed to get together and got a few writers together in a short time, and away we went. And it's turned into a real nice organization. All of us, or most of us, back then belonged to OWA too. And we were anxious to get a connection with them, which we did. And Hans was on the board of directors. And I was a director for a while. Then they made me a vice president. And then over several years, I became president of National Group. And it brought several members into the New York group, and they found out of us. And of course, there's a lot more you'd like to do, but distance and time and necessary things at home kind of put a limit on them things. We all know that. But I was glad to come to the meeting there. When did we meet last year?
Are you talking about for the 50th anniversary one?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Well, heck, I think it's longer than that now.
And that was 2017.
That was 4 years ago.
Well, that's older than me. But I had a great time there. Good meeting all you guys. I don't do much writing anymore. I do some stuff on the side. I don't have a regular column anymore. And but I've published my own publications and written for Buffalo Courier Express for many years. That was a great job. And that was all part-time for me. I worked for 33 years for the New York Power Authority, the Niagara Power Project, and they tolerated all this stuff. In fact, they became a sponsor of the New York State Outdoor Writers. I don't know if they still are or not. Probably not, because a guy named John Lenny in the Albany area was, he was really attached to our writers group, came to all our meetings and helped us financially many times. And I haven't been active in the state group at all. I just sitting around getting old, that's all. And what is it, Saturday I have a birthday?
Yeah.
I'll be old enough to vote then.
Oh, look at this.
Hi.
Looks like Dave and Rose.
Hey, Bill, how you doing, dude?
Who's that chick with you?
You know what? I pick up this young baby down the road here. She was like walking along the roadside, you know, checking ditches, and I came along and said, "Hey, babe, you're just."
I don't believe that. She's class.
I'll tell you
I
what.
thought that's how she found you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you understand that whole story.
Got it reversed.
Hey, Bill, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bill. The best.
Thank you.
You know, Bill, you have been an inspiration to Rose and I for a very long time, and so many other people. And I just wanted to make sure we made this. And quite honestly, I just checked my messages and honestly saw Billy Jr.'s note. Hey, Dave, did you see the note from Chris? And I did not. Believe it or not, we actually, you know, we're busy. We're living in Florida, Bill. We still own our house in East Aurora in New York. And so we're going back and forth a bit, but we are citizens now of Florida. Actually, we like the governor down here, but
Yeah.
you know, we haven't had a case of COVID in like, I don't know, 14 or 15 days
Yeah,
in Charlotte
right,
County where we
right.
live. So I don't understand it, but whatever the science is, you know, we wanted to make sure we were on this recording to say happy birthday, Bill.
Happy birthday. But at home, our Sherry has got COVID and she's very sick. So please keep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And we cannot go home for Christmas. We were supposed to, but we were told to stay away.
Yeah. So a lot of people said, you know, the high percentage of people getting sick, you know, better stay back. So we're following instructions, and we've invited everybody to come down here, of course,
Right.
including all of you. Just give us a holler. We've got plenty of room down here. We're in Port Charlotte, Florida, in Southwest Florida. So, you know, the water temperature in the Gulf is unusually high at 78, but there are snook and redfish and flounder and speckled trout and snapper are ready to bite your shrimp off your hook. And it's a little different from freshwater, but you know, we have a lot of fun. So we just want to say happy birthday, Bill.
Happy birthday, Bill. All the best to
You are an inspiration to all of us,
Yes.
every single person
Every
in
day.
this organization and across the United States. You know, Bill. Thank you,
I
man.
hope it was a good inspiration. You know, speaking of COVID, last year, December 11th, I had that stuff. I spent a couple weeks in the hospital but I survived.
Ah, Good, Bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Sherry was in the hospital for a little while.
Yeah.
But she's home recovering, has to have oxygen. She's got blood clots in her legs and they're
Oh,
Her
boy.
monitoring all
lungs
that.
too.
So,
But
I had pneumonia with mine. And
Yes.
they sent me up to St. Joe's
uh,
from St. Mary's in the Falls there.
yeah.
But happy holidays, you guys. Thanks
Thank
so much.
have a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Same to you. Many, many more.
Merry
Love
Christmas.
you.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Bill, I've got a question for you, Bill. You know, again, I'm one of the newer members, I guess, here, and what was your inspiration to kind of get people together to form like NYSOWA? Like, what was your
Well,
thought behind it or reason behind it? You know, why was that important?
I was so active in the National Outdoor Writers. And there are many state associations, and New York didn't have one. And so I got my directory out and I started going through it and calling. And somebody that I called, I don't know who it was, said, Bill, Hans Poller's doing this same thing up in Messina. I didn't even know Hans Poller. I called him up right then. And we became best friends and we worked together and we met down the Cortland office of DEC. And we got a few writers together in that area. And we put together a plan for OWAA. Or for New York State Outdoor Writers. And it just went on from there. It was a natural. We had a lot of people volunteered. Dick Jennings at Cortland Line Company was very instrumental. We used his resources he was a PR director there to get started and got the Power Authority involved. John Lenny with the Power Authority, his vice president. And it just helped us immensely get the ball rolling and here we are. Any questions?
In the early going, was there, I mean, when I first joined, there was a annual meeting with the governor, not the governor, but the DEC commissioner. Did you start that, or is that a fairly recent thing that came and went?
We didn't have much luck with DEC. In fact, we had our annual meeting in Niagara Falls, I can recall. And Mario Como was governor then. And he's the eldest of the popular Como family. And we're all in the motel there, the annual dinner. And I got a telegram that says, the governor's too busy to come to your meeting. And that set the tone for Mario Como and New York State Outdoor Writers for the rest of his term. But they didn't let us know in advance and got this little, I still got the letters someplace. But we didn't have a very good relationship. We did with DEC. They usually came to our meetings and they were helpful. And of course, that was Art Wolt and them guys. They're communications people. And
Ed Feldman.
Ed Feldman, yep. They were very active in our group. But
Well, that's still the case. I mean, we made out pretty good with them this last few meetings, actually. We had several staff members show up for the meeting in Saratoga County. And then when we were in Fulton County in the spring, we had a Zoom meeting like this with the commissioner and some of his staff. And we just put it up on a big screen there and we were all able to ask questions and converse with him. It went pretty well. But I think, Dave, to answer your question, in my tenure, it was Leo who got things going with the commissioner, and that was Granis. He actually came to the old Forge conference, Granis did, and we had dinner with him, a few of us, and he spoke at the meet and greet that night. And then it wasn't long after that, he started having a couple meetings in Albany. He did it a couple years in a row, where if the first time DEC sprang for lunch, and it was just in a conference room down there in Albany. And I remember going, Dick Nelson was there, Will Elliott, Ed Noonan, myself, trying to remember who else might have been attending those. Dave, I can't remember if you were there or not.
I was there. I was there.
And
Yeah.
they were early. They were a few years back. And of course, it was 2008, 2009. And those were up until now. And then, well, I take that back. When we met in Fulton County, 2010 or 11, when the guy from OSI there was the commissioner, he showed up, Joe Martens. He came and
Yeah.
spoke at her, so that's the only interaction I remember us really having with right there with the commissioner in my time anyways. Of course, I have only been around since 2006. There's been a lot of years before that, with the organization.
Oh, it's been a good ride. We have some great members, and we're a loose organization. You don't want to be too tight where it dictates your life, and that's kind of what outdoor writers are about. You're freelancers and you fly all over the place, and I have met with writer groups all over the country when they find out that I had been involved in OWAA and the New York State. I've been invited to meetings in Pennsylvania, in oh gosh, I can't think of them right now. But there's about Kentucky was one, Tennessee, Eagle Malt, Tennessee. It's in eastern Tennessee. They had a meeting up there that was just fantastic. And they invited me. That's when I was president of OWAA. So they got these writer groups all over the place. And nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. In fact, the president put me in his truck, drove me down through the woods. He says, looked around, wasn't anybody around. He said, okay, get out right here. I got out. We followed a trail winding through the woods for about 10, 15 minutes. And all of a sudden we break out in the open. And here's a great big still going. And they're cooking stuff there. And he says, this is the best stuff you ever had in your life. We sat down, we had several glasses of that. I wouldn't want to drive a car afterwards, I'll tell you that. But nice meeting these people all over the country, just like you and I.
Do you have any real memorable like conferences or I don't know, the funny things that might have happened, funny scenarios, situations? I mean, I've heard a couple in recent years. I won't bring up because I know maybe sort of subjects still for some people, but were there any of those kind of fun things that went on?
You remember any?
There was never anything fun. I remember one time the two of us were sharing a room at the Thousand Islands Inn, and I had to hustle because I was getting the photo awards program ready with a slide projector, and we had just come in from fishing, and I went upstairs, hopped in the shower, and of course I'm getting ready to take a shower, so I don't have any clothes on, and the shower handle comes off in my hand and a stream of water is shooting across, hitting the wall, and water's going every place. And Dad had to go down and find Alan Venus, and he had to turn the water off. Now this is while everybody's getting ready for our banquet. So people are in the showers and getting themselves ready. And it took about 15 minutes to try to figure that out before he turned the water back on. And I really never did get to take a shower that night. So that was one of my favorite memories when we were at the Thousand Islands, and Dad came to the rescue. He had to come in the bathroom with me no clothes on. So
Pretty ugly, pretty ugly.
Well, I'm sure Leo and Bill and Chris, you guys have been around a while. I'm sure you guys got some stories about Bill Sr.
Bill Senior, yeah, I was at the Thousand Islands when that happened with the photo awards. It was kind of a rustic place, wouldn't you say? Alan Venus's.
well, it was very historic.
It was good. It was great, but then I don't know where your room was, but they had a party in the parking lot later that night. There's a bar behind.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah,
it was
O'Brien's.
kind of O'Brien. It was kind of a wild night.
I remember when I met Bill Sr. and it was at the Old Forge Conference in 2008. Of course, I'd heard all about him, and we had gone to lunch at in Inlet, and the breakout was there, and I was heading back to my room, and somebody said, "Hey, Bill Sr. needs a ride back to the hotel. Can you ride?" I said, "Sure." And that's when I met Bill. So he was riding with me, and we were talking. When we got back to the motel, we realized his room was like 1 or 2 doors down from us. And so I said, "Hey, Bill, you want to have a glass of wine or a cold beer or something?" He said, "Sure." So my wife had just shown up, and I introduced him. He looked at her and he goes, "This your wife?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What the hell's she doing with you?" But he was on,
Sounds like-
he was being, I think he was joking.
She was at a loss for words, as I remember.
So she got a big
Both-
chuckle out of that.
Both Bills are like
And that's why
that.
that's why she had to say a quick hello to you earlier there, Bill.
Well, Dad was talking about 1991 when the Outdoor Writers Association of America held their conference in Niagara Falls, and Dad was president of OWAA when the conference was in Niagara Falls. And that was a heck of a committee that we put together for the New York State Outdoor Writers Association. I think we had over 20 people on that committee. NYSOWA had its own hospitality room. We had some great food from all over the whole state, and really in support of Big Bill being the president of OWAA. The part that I hated the most was because he was president and it was going to be in Niagara Falls, I was the automatic local conference chairman that had to handle all the stuff. So I missed most of the conference.
1,000 people.
Yeah, 888 was the attendance for the Niagara Falls conference. So to this day, it's the second biggest they ever had. The first biggest was Kalispell, Montana. But New York State Outdoor Writers really came to play as far as supporting the state, supporting OWAA, and attending the conference and pulling it all together. So, it really created some good vibes for every writer across the country, just how New York State stood up to the plate.
I got another question. Again, being new and the president, I got all sorts of questions here. But so Bill, what did you do to recruit new members? Because we're kind of having that problem right now, bringing in new blood and bringing in people. What was your sales pitch?
Well, you got to remember, it's a very unique field that we are covering, and there isn't a hell of a lot of them around. And usually, our main recruiter was other writers. And there's some writers, you know, that are just prolific at being able to get people to join, you know. And I know I brought a lot of members in, both state and national, and Bill has. I'm sure you have, you know, and we're the best recruiters we got ourselves. And people see our programs, like this program we had in Niagara Falls with all them writers there, my gosh. And that was the one where we got the letter from Governor Mario Cuomo. It said, he said he was too busy to come and meet with us. Here's almost 1,000 writers from all over. We had writers from Mexico. Where else were they from? There were other countries there.
Yeah, Canada, a lot from Canada.
Huh.
But they, when we announced it, the governor was too busy to come. It went over real big. I was pleased with the way it was received. And of course, his kid is a carbon copy. And anyway, we got to do better in New York that way. It's been a real challenge in that a lot of guys aren't joiners. They don't like to belong, but most of them that do come in are pleased when they attend a meeting, annual meeting, and with all people of the same ilk, you know, talk about writing and go fishing with them and go hunting with them, depending on the time of year. But we've had some really good meetings for state association. And this guy here, he's been going to OWAA meetings since we had to put diapers on him. Of course, he's still wearing diapers, but he grew up with OWAA and he's a big asset to our group because he knows all them people. He knows that he's been to the meetings with me, and he knows the tricks of the trade, and he knows what writers want and what writers they aren't like regular people, you know. They're a little different. They like you to buy them a beer, and but it's been an adventure, and God, I've been in it for. Well, on Saturday I'll be 90 years old. And I'm starting to get old. My hair is starting to change a little bit. I'm starting to grow some though. And but I have no regrets at all of everything I've done during my 90 years. Been all over the world. 4 years in the Navy during the Korean War. Served it all aboard a destroyer. 30 different countries. Been to Denmark and Sweden, hunting and fishing, and Mexico, Alaska. Boy, I love Alaska. Spent a lot of time up there. And so it's been a real adventure. And this is what opened the doors for me is the ability I have I was blessed with to put this stuff down on paper and people enjoy reading it. And especially the adventures. And I've made several trips to Alaska, mostly Kodiak Island. Fallen in love with the place. If I had known what Kodiak Island was like when I was 50 years ago, I would have moved up there. Just great life, great people, and great hunting and fishing. And I just had some wonderful memories. It's too bad I can't take them all and put them on film, you know, to share with the rest of the world. But what opened the doors is being a member of New York State Outdoor Writers and OWAA, and opened the door for a lot of places that I went to, a lot of places I fished, and I just can't say enough of the great life that outdoor writing is giving not only me, but my entire family. And my wife was a big part of it. All my kids, we took them everywhere. We took them to all the writer meetings. They became part of it. Imagine they still got friends from that. But they always found a way. In fact, our meeting in Minnesota, Duluth, American Outdoors was there. And they made a film of our outdoor day. It was on the national television. But my two little kids, Davy and Susan, were sitting at a picnic bench. And that's what they took pictures of, those two kids. And that was the opening dialogue for the opening of this program on national television. These two kids are eating a hot dog.
One thing that always made an impression on me was Bill's ability to welcome everybody and make everybody feel at home, from the newest person to, I won't say the most important, but some of the thought they were. But even my first conference, I had it in Old Forge, and my wife and my three daughters were there. They stayed at the same motel and went on their own way, did their own thing, but would go down in the morning and have breakfast. I remember Bill and a couple others would all be sitting there having breakfast, and they'd go out of their way to welcome the kids and talk to them and make them feel important, and it made a big impression on them. I know that new members were always welcomed by Bill. And going back to DEC commissioners, actually I had probably between 8 and 10 different DEC commissioners, you know, not only the ones that Dan and others mentioned, but ones like Aaron Crotty and Mike Sagata, John Cahill, and all them. And Bill always had obviously strong opinions, but I do know a couple of times a few of our members were not the most polite. They were fueled up by a little too much alcohol, and emboldened by alcohol, they got a little bit obnoxious and got in the face of the commissioners. And even though Bill might have his own opinions, he always was able to smooth it over and be very diplomatic and solve some of those confrontations from getting too ugly. So he was always handy for whether welcoming a newcomer or soothing over the feelings of a veteran DEC commissioner.
Okay,
There we go. We got him.
Yeah.
my wife's computer just died, and I don't know if it's because of the windstorm or what, but
Well, Bill
Okay.
Senior, Chris, I got a question, Chris Kenyon. Have you kept all your columns, and what format are they in?
No,
No?
I kept it for about 20 years and then I stopped because it was easier to move out of the house.
Yeah, I'm at the same, when do you stop? Because we
Yeah.
used to save the hard copies.
I used to say both. And I, all of a sudden I said, what the hell am I doing this for? Nobody want to read this now. And I wrote for the Courier, Buffalo Courier Express for many years and they're all freelance. I didn't work for them, but that was a really productive paper as a morning paper. And boy, it was really got a lot of response. Most response I ever got for anything I ever wrote was from the Courier Express.
Right.
And I wrote for them for about 10 years. Then the Minneapolis Star bought them out and they went right down the toilet.
Funny you asked that about keeping stuff. I got a filing cabinet here in my office, in the top drawer has 20 years worth of newspaper columns in it from the weekly paper I work for and a few others, and some from some of the magazines like Leo's magazine and a few others. But as far as outdoor news is concerned, I have the archives. I have a hardbound set of archives of every year. So now I'm not going to own that forever, but I don't know. I don't have the room to store everything I write anymore. I was asking myself that the same question the other day. you know, what am I hanging on to these for? But
Right.
who would want to read them, you know, but or will I ever use them? You know, that's the whole thing.
Well, I've
But
been
it's
writing for so many years, I have never gone back to an old column.
Hmm.
So
But it's
that's what,
history. But it's certainly history when you started writing, and then, you know, newspapers are hurting now, which I hate because I love newspapers.
I do too.
But I got by myself, I was thinking it the other day, who do I give them to my brother? You know, what do you do? I quit saving hard copies like Dan. You know, down cellar, I had all this stuff. The only reason I kept them was for award ceremonies or something. I'm saying, why am I doing this? And then I had to go out and buy my own newspaper. And I'm going, why am I paying for this?
Bill,
Well,
is there a piece of work you've done, an article, a feature, a book that you're kind of most proud of? Is there one in all these years?
Not really. In fact, I'm in the process now of writing my first book, and Bill's helping me on that. And it's going to be a glossary of things I did over the years, adventures, you know. And we're in the process of that now. In fact, he's proofreading, and I'm just not satisfied with it the way it is. And we got to do something with it. But we've been kind of taking a little vacation here lately. I never did a book. It's been all newspaper and magazine. And I did radio and television too.
About the North American Bear Foundation book.
Yeah, that too. That was a real guy from Minnesota. What the hell is his name?
Brian Bachman.
Brian Bachman came to me and said, Bill, I want to start the North American Bear Foundation. Will you, this was over lunch one day at OWA. And he said, will you start a magazine for us? So I said, sure. And we came out with Bear Journal, and really good magazine. Had a printer in Fargo, North Dakota, and an outfit in Michigan that put it together. And it came out, I was so pleased with the first copy. We went for what, 5 years?
Yeah, probably.
5 years. Bill was my chief confidant on it. And we did a real good job on it. And then all of a sudden, the foundation went, it was right at the time that we existed on advertising and donations. And we had a foundation, and it was a pretty good setup, but everything was going in the toilet right then. All kinds of business failures, and so the magazine went with it. But I was really pleased with that magazine. It had great writers, and it really had content. Good work, good printer. Boy, nice clean copy, bright colors. But that went by the way. And I did a television show for a while. I wasn't really impressed with it. Did a radio show for years. Really got more response from that than anything else. But writing is the key, and you got to have that imagination. You got to have the proper guys that you can refer to for your information, reliable information, and you got to have some of that old college spirit to get in there and dig up the good stuff and come out with a good story that everybody wants to read. And that's the challenge of outdoor writing primarily, except, you know, we got a unique subject, and everybody, almost everybody, has an interest in the outdoors. And I try to put a little conservation in all my writing. I don't do much writing anymore, just when I have to. And I think I've earned my spurs over the years. But I envy all you guys getting involved and doing bringing the good word to the people of America. More?
No, that's good.
Bill was awesome. He was instrumental with the crossbow, Bill Sr.
Oh, we used to have people spit at us.
Yeah, oh, I know. How many, how long ago did you start that?
The
Decade
kids-
ago?
We went to Ohio. They said, come on over, we want to show you something. We used to hunt in southern Ohio. And a farm down there was, what was the company?
Horton Crossbows,
Portland Crossbows.
Camp Opportunity.
Yeah. And boy, oh boy, we fell in love with them. They were a great way to hunt, especially if somebody had a handicap or something. It was a great way to hunt. We killed several deer and we brought them back to New York. And oh my God, the New York bow hunters call me Bill Hitler. And I'm really on the crap list. But we still persisted. And my boys, I have 3 sons. We used to go around to clubs in West New York here and sportsman's club meetings and put on demonstrations with a crossbow. And we found it very acceptable. Only a few places we've ran into, we had a cop stop us in one village. You the crossbow guys? I thought they were going to run us off. But it caught on, and DEC is trying to screw it up, but keep changing the rules, stupid rules. And but we hunted with them in Ohio for several years, and it was really fun. Glad we did it.
Any other stories that anyone wants to ask or share? Or Bill, is there any other memorable experiences or stories you'd like to share with us?
What? Well, there's a lot of stories, but I could keep you here all night.
How about Joe DeFalco and how he took the organization up to the next level?
You guys know Joe DeFalco? He's from New York City. I don't even know if he's still around, but he had a TV show down there. And Joe was a good friend, but he had sometimes tough to understand. Yeah, very good looking lady. And somehow he hooked on to Bill and I, and he'd always show up someplace where we're at. But didn't he belong to New York?
Yeah, he helped get your organization off the ground. This is before me.
Oh, yeah. He was a vice president. And he wanted to really be vice president, too. He finally, I went, did you go with me when we went on a TV show?
No.
He flew me down to Long Island, went on his TV show, and there was in the building, there was a bleacher seat set up where they broadcast. And we got there, and when the show was on, we walked out of the dressing room. I walked out with him into the studio, and here's bleachers set up full of fans. Hey, Joe, yay, yay, yay. And cheerleaders, everything. And I got laughing, I couldn't stop. But anyway, we were on a show, and it was all Joe. And it was almost like I wasn't even in the room. But Joe liked me, and we had a decent show. And I did stay overnight down there. he did pay the bills. And, but if you haven't met Joe DeFalco, I don't even know if he's still around. But that was an adventure, I'll tell you.
Was
Any
that the one where we gutted and cut up the deer on stage?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was Joe.
yeah. Down in Long Island. Used to do that in the wasn't there a Long Island where they played hockey?
Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah. That's where he did this stuff. Yeah, they probably hit a deer with a car or something, brought it in and dressed it out, showed everybody how to do it. He was a butcher by profession.
Oh.
And he was a good guy. It just, he wouldn't get along very well up here in Western New York. I know that. Although he had been up there a few times. I don't even know if he's still around.
You have any words of wisdom to keep NYSOWA going for the next 50 something years? Anything? Any advice? Any words of wisdom there?
Well, keep up to date, know what's going on. Of course, we all use sources, but I used to keep checking my sources, and because sometimes they get outdated, and you want to keep your people informed, and don't some crap, just to fill a space. They all like to hear your adventures. I know all my readers did. And when I wrote for the Buffalo Courier Express, that was a big circulation paper. They're gone now. They're out of business. But that was a morning paper. Their Sunday edition, counting the ads, had 100 pages. And that's a pretty big paper. And they really recognized the outdoors. I had an outdoor column on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had a whole page. Back page of the sports section every Sunday. And that's a lot of writing when I'm still working full-time at the Power Authority and still writing other articles. And I said, one time I woke up and I was sitting in my office working and looked at the clock. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I still had to go to work at the Power Authority. And I said to myself, this is nuts. And I did all my stuff. I went to work. I come home and I started cutting stuff off. Cut a column here, cut a column there. So I had some time for myself. And that's, you want to make sure you do that so you don't burn out. You can get so involved that you don't know where you're headed. And that's the way I was. I was bumping into myself. And my kids were growing up. I was missing my kids. And I wanted them to grow up with me, which we straightened all that out. And Bill followed me in my footsteps and doing a hell of a job. And all my kids are doing real well.
Well, this has been great, Bill. Thank you so much for everything you've done over the years as an outdoor writer and with NYSOWA and OWAA. I think we all benefit from the stuff you've done. So I personally want to thank you for all that.
Hey, Bill, what are you doing to celebrate?
Oh, I'm having a Heineken beer right now.
All right.
I think we're going out tomorrow night, aren't we? Saturday night.
Good. Well, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family,
Oh, I do. We're all close. Nobody's strange. I'm blessed. My wife has been gone about 6 years now, and she gets credit for raising the family because I was busy all the time. And she raised, great kids. 3 boys and a girl. And they're all members of the community. And we had a little trouble teaching Billy how to read and write. But after we got that out of the way, things started to smooth out.
Well, thank you so much, Bill.
Yeah.
And I get, definitely happy birthday. You definitely, that's going to
Yeah.
be a big celebration. So cheers.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Bill.
birthday.
there, Will.
Thanks a lot, you guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we got a newcomer here. Oh,
Yeah.
party's not
Bill?
over yet.
I got it.
Can you hear us? It's Bill Hollister.
Yep, we've got
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Okay, I've been taking a double dose of Viagra, so I got real younger looking.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Good, we're doing well. Just had our second youngest granddaughter come home from college, so we had a little celebration here.
Wow. Wow, that's great. Haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, I'm still here.
Still here, yeah. You know what you mean.
Got the big 9-0 on Saturday.
Yeah,
How you doing, Bill?
pretty well.
Did you get
Yeah.
out and do some hunting?
Yeah, I got sad tales to tell just because of my eyesight. Saw 4 bucks on the opening day, 2 spikes, a 6-pointer, and a really beautiful 8. But I couldn't see him well. I was there with my oldest son, Billy, and I kept urging him to shoot. And he said, no, I want you to shoot. And my eyesight had failed so badly that I couldn't get a good image in the scope. And we watched this big 8-pointer for close to a half an hour. It was feeding with doe and a fawn, and nothing in the way. A couple of years ago, it would have been on the ground, but you just couldn't see him well enough to make a good shot. Unfortunately, macular degeneration. In fact, I was just at the eye doctor's today, and I've got some surgery scheduled for April, but it's not going to help the macular degeneration. It's going to just provide some better viewing as a result of work they're going to do on the lower eyelids and so forth. But anyway, we had some good experience. I only got out that day and one other day. My son Billy is in the Adirondacks most of the time now, and so we only got out a couple times, but we had opportunities if I could only have convinced him to shoot.
Well, we were I think we were just getting ready to kind of end the night here, unless anybody else has more to add or any other stories, or Bill, if you had any stories you wanted to add.
Yeah, I got a kind of
About
an
Bill?
interesting. Oh, that Bill. Okay, I can wait. I got an
No,
interesting.
I'm sorry. I mean, if you had some stories to add.
Yeah, we were kind of roasting him a little bit. So, get your roast in while you can here.
Hey, you guys, I want to thank you for doing this. And it was a real pleasure shooting the Maloney with you guys and telling some of my tales. I'll think of all of them after we hang up. But you got to bet that after 90 years, there's a hell of a lot of tales to tell. But I've enjoyed it all. And most of all, I've enjoyed you guys that you're around the state and at meetings and read your stuff in the papers and magazines. And it's been a great life. It's been a great ride. I couldn't think of a better way than to follow the path of an outdoor writer. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Bill.
Yeah,
Happy
happy
birthday,
birthday.
Bill.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday and thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right. Have a good night.
All right,
Bye-bye.
right.
Well, that went good.